Good morning, student. That is chapter 6 of your civics chapter. Name is Understanding Our Criminal Justice System. In this chapter, we will understand the justice system of crime. We will understand the role of police, role of judge, role of public prosecutor, and role of defense lawyer by studying a fictitious case of Shanti that is given in this chapter. In our real life, when we see the police is arresting a person, we get confused and decides or thinks that it is a police who decides whether a person is guilty or not. Actually, after a person is arrested, he is given a fair trial in the court, and then he is decided as guilty or he is an innocent person. So in this chapter we will also study about fair trial. What is fair trial? We will discuss, and what is FIR means first information report, that will come to know after discussion of that chapter. So what is the case? Mr. and Mrs. Shinde, they live in uh, an apartment at Mumbai, and they have a maid. Her maid's name is Shanti. Mr. and Mrs. Shinde were getting ready for a party, but Mrs. Shinde is not finding her golden chain. She calls her maid Shanti and tells that she has stolen her chain. While the discussion was going on in Mrs. Shinde and Shanti, Mr. Shinde searches Shanti's trunk and finds envelope of rupees 10,000, and he thought that Shanti has kept that money after selling the golden chain. But Shanti gives clarification that it is her and her brother's hard earned money, and she is innocent, she has not stolen the chain. Mr. Shinde went to police station and called policemen and filed FIR. FIR is in which everything related to person that gives information is written, and the incidents mean points are written. So Mr. Shinde files an FIR. Sub Inspector Rao records Mr. Shinde's FIR, and after filing FIR, he went with Mr. Shinde at his house. Then and he took Miss Shanti with himself, and he also kept 10,000 rupees as an evidence. Sushil is brother of Shanti. He arrives and requests SIR Rao to release Shanti, but Mr. Rao is not listening to her brother. After all hearings, he keeps Shanti in jail. Then the court grants bail to Shanti after a month, but she is poor lady and she is unable to get anyone that can give surety for her for rupees 20,000. So she continued to be in jail. She is worried about what will happen during the trial. Then police files charge sheet. According to the procedure, police files charge sheet in magistrate courts, and the court gives a copy of charge sheet including statement of witness to Shanti, and Shanti tells that she is not having a lawyer. Magistrate appoints advocate Kamla Rao as Shanti's defense lawyer. So, according to Article 22 of the Constitution, if a person is poor, he is having fundamental right to be defended by a lawyer. So, Article 39A of the Constitution places a duty upon the state to provide lawyer to any citizen who is unable to engage lawyer due to poverty or any other disability. So Shanti gets defense lawyer through court, and her defense lawyer's name is Mrs. Kamla Rao. Mrs. Kamla Rao meets Shanti in the court and asks Shanti about the gold chain, and asks what was as evidence, and just 10,000 rupees police got from her trunk. She asks everything from Shanti, and Shanti explains the whole story to her lawyer. And then public prosecutor appears in case on behalf of the state. He presents Mrs. and Mr. Shinde as key witnesses. So public prosecutor is from side of state or from side of Mr. and Mrs. Shinde, and defense lawyer is given to Shanti. So during discussion, Advocate Roy examines Sushil and his employer as witnesses, and she is able to show that rupees 10,000 found in Shanti's trunk could well be earning of Sushil and Shanti. As the case is going on, Sushil learns that Inspector Sharma has busted a gang of young men who have been stealing jewelry from Shinde's neighborhood, and some of Mrs. Shinde's son's friends are part of that gang. So Mrs. Shinde's chain has been found on them. Sushil tells Advocate Rao, that is defense lawyer of Shanti. So Shanti's brother Sushil tells Advocate Rao, now call Inspector Sharma as defense witness. So Inspector Sharma that caught some young men as thieves. So Mrs. Rao, defense lawyer, inspects or everything and calls Mr. Sharma as defense as witness, and Mr. Inspector Sharma shows that chain was Mrs. Shinde's chain, and she recognized that it is her chain. The judge hears the testimony of all witnesses, and after testimony of Inspector Sharma, Advocate Rao argues before the judge that it has now been established that Shanti is innocent and should be acquitted, should be released from the jail. Shanti was acquitted from the jail, and she was given 10,000 that police has taken from her trunk. And Mrs. Rao defense lawyer told Shanti that in her investigation she will highlight the point that SI Rao has not played her role well.